Good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I hope you are well. I am fine. I was watching something on Burkina Faso. It's an African country who has gold and silver. And it's frankly appalling what the U.S. is doing to them. Which we'll get into in a little bit. Obviously, the U.S. is broke. Obviously, it has no gold because they want to steal and kill this Burkina Faso, this African country who has a lot of gold and oil. Why are they going attacking them? Well, obviously, because we need the gold and oil. Because we know BRICS has gold, and our only out is to have our own gold. Well, okay. So instead of buying the gold, we want to go send our armed forces there, kill everybody, and steal the gold. What the fuck is that? I mean, I can't believe that our government is so corrupt and so nasty. Obviously, it's run by the mafia because that's what it sounds like. This just brings it out. So we got 8,000 tons of gold. Yeah, like I got 8,000 tons of gold. We have no gold. We're trying to steal it. This is how corrupt and what a big loser country the U.S. is. I mean, this is appalling. You negotiate. This is capitalism, free market economics. You want something, you buy it. You don't go in. It's like us going into Kmart's or Kroger's and saying, "Oh, now I'm going to take over. I'm going to steal all your food, and if you don't, I'm going to kill the manager and everybody else." I mean, this is scary, but this is what we're doing in Ukraine. But the ace in the hole for Africa is Russia. They're defending Africa. So it's going to be U.S. versus Russia. And we all know how that's going to work. We don't even have soldiers. So this is done by like CIA operatives and defense contractor people. That's how sad this is. It's really disgusting. I got videos that I'll show you. They apparently went in, threatened the guy saying, "I want your gold and silver or else." And they came and they killed 50 soldiers. And now Africa is responding. And they're not happy and they're not giving in. And they're saying, "Fuck off." Just what I would do. And if you stand up to the U.S. has no army. It's depleted from all the Israel and Ukraine, where we've given them all our weapons, not for profit, not for gold. See, in World War II, we sold all the weapons to England for gold. They had to pay us in gold to get the weapons because they had gold. That's how we got 8,000 tons of gold. Fortunately, we sold it all to the Chinese. Anyway, so now we're out of gold, and here comes BRICS with the gold, and they can't fight Russia and China. They have no chance. So they're going to come in with, we can't fight Russia and China. Let's steal some gold from Africa because they're weak and they're that, but they're run by military people here. Some general or colonels running it, and now they're all united. There's 4 other countries, I think Chad and Niger, and one other one that they also probably have gold, and they're tired. France was stealing all their gold and silver and oil. And they stopped that. That's why they're military. So Africa's poor because France stole all their materials and the U.S. stole all the materials. So here you got a gold mine, and here comes the U.S. going, "Oh, we'll take that." What do you mean you take that? You ain't taking that. So, this is very sad. The nerve of the U.S. stealing and killing people for gold and oil. It's fucking ridiculous. Just because you sold all your gold doesn't mean you go steal somebody else's. And see, this is the thing. That's why they killed Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein, was they tried to use the gold as money and to get away from the dollar for freedom, and the U.S. killed them. That's why it's been tricky with BRICS. But when you got Russia and China, the U.S. can't go in and just kill them. they're trying to bankrupt Russia with this prolonging this war, and they don't care if they've killed 1,800,000 Ukrainians or not. But it's like, well, we got to kill Russia and China because they're trying to have gold-backed currency. That's what the war is really about. But they can't do what they're doing to Africa because it's Russia and China, and they got nukes, and they will use it. So you got to be very careful here. So we have a great army, not anymore. We can't afford it. We have no money. We're bankrupt. So we need gold. So that's why they're doing it. It's like they're just figuring out now, hey, this toilet paper is not worth anything. Yeah, we might have 1 trillion of it, but it isn't worth anything. As I've been saying, gold and silver will keep you alive, and that's it. That's why when people go, I'm going to buy stocks, I'm going to do this, I just like, are you out of your fucking mind? What part of get out of money and get out of paper and get out of gold, dollars, do you not understand? Well, I can make a lot in stocks. Okay, great. But you're dealing with monopoly money, which isn't worth anything. So people making money on Apple and Amazon, and Apple, by the way, is losing money. They're getting their ass kicked with the tariffs and everything. So Trump's lost his mind, but Trump's not even in control. Trump's not running the country. It's the defense contractors. It's the Israelis. I think with this Epstein thing, he's being blackmailed, and he's doing what he's told, or he's just doing what his handlers say, the defense contractors, the banks. We know the banks run the country. So they're all worried because if it goes gold back, the dollars, there'll be a bank of nothing. There'll be a bank of dollars that are worthless. So a lot of these BRICS countries are coming to the aid of Africa. I'm sure Africa will either join BRICS or has. But there's a lot of countries within Africa. It's a big continent, but a lot of, over 50 countries inside of it. And like Gaddafi, who wanted gold and hospitals for the sick and free education and all the good stuff. Now Hillary Clinton banged that and said, "Oh no, we can't allow that," and she blew it up, basically, and killed Gaddafi. And this time, I don't think it's going to work. They're not going to kill this guy because he's got defense. He's got the Russians. He's got a huge military that they're not going to just sit there and take it. And he's telling them, fuck off. So anyway, that's what we got. We'll get into that later. Very sad story. All right, let's look at our gold, 33.88. Got the 33.95. There's a lot of resistance at 3,400. Why? Because it's paper gold. It's not real gold. So you have the resistance. For whatever reason, they don't want the price to go to 3,400. Well, who the hell cares at this point? We know the dollar's gone. We know the inflation's massive. As I showed you yesterday, it's 9,300% since 1971. $35 gold is now 3,400, which is 9,300% inflation since 1971. And that's just on gold. So if you look at houses, so the problem with trying to do 2 or 3%, that's on gold. Let's do silver. It was $1.50. Now it's almost 40. Now it's 38.25. Well, let's do houses. A house was 25,000, I believe. It's now 500,000. Let's do cars. They were 4,500. Now they're 50,000. Pick a product and you're going to get different numbers. So how do you get 2 or 3%? Well, that's year over year. Well, who said that's the way to do it? These people just do things because it looks good that aren't right, and people listen to them because nobody knows. They think it's prices, and they go, oh, well, 2-3% inflation. Okay, we're okay. No, you're fucked. It's 9,300%. It's not 2 or 3%. So it's a big lie, and that's all the government does is lie. They're lying about the war. They're with Africa now, and they lie about the Ukraine war and the Israeli war, and they all go to Epstein's island, and he was FBI, and basically they're all being blackmailed, and the whole thing's is a mess. And so who's running the country? It isn't the government, that's for sure. The government's a puppet. Isn't the Godfather with the strings? That's what it is. The guy, Don Corleone's running the country, or some Jamie Dimon and some of the other mafia heads of the 5 banks. They're the ones running it, and they're trying to save the dollar because the banks control everything. And if the dollar collapses, the banks collapse because they got a bunch of nothing. So that's where we're at. It's disgusting. It really is. So silver, $38.25. So again, why are we shorting it? Why isn't silver $500 where it should be? And why isn't gold $5,000? Why are they holding it down? Because they don't have any. If we had 8,000 tons, this gold price would be 20,000 or 50,000. If you have it, you want it to go up. If you don't have it, you don't want it to go up, because those who have it will be rich. Russia, China, this African country, and all the rest would be rich if they had it. So they want to keep the price down. But what they don't realize is the U.S. isn't going to be pricing gold very soon. It'll be China pricing gold and Russia pricing gold. And nobody's going to look at COMEX because COMEX is a joke. So anyway, 33.88. Why did it go down here? Why did it at 4 a.m. did it go down $20? Why? It was an option. And that's where the buy was at. So the sell at 33.95 and the buy was 33.75. Why are we still doing options? We have to have gold to deliver to this. Maybe that's why they're going after the gold in Africa, is to pay off, because we're going to be broke, because people will want the delivery of their options. Somebody bought this at 33.75 at 4.15, right? And you see it go up. They're going to want to take delivery of that gold. So maybe this is what's happening. I doubt the U.S. is smart enough to go on a gold-backed currency. They want to use stable coins, because they're stable, because we say they're stable. Unbelievable. Luke, there's your silver box. Silver box there. These are all 20. The white containers are all 20. There's 20 silver ounces in each one. All right. So we know where it should be going. It's not there yet. And the market's down 250. So we have no gold. We have a big recession. We have massive inflation. We're trying to steal gold from Africa. We're in a war with Ukraine and Israel, and the market's 43.9. People are taking out trillions of dollars to take it back to their countries to get out of the dollar. But the market's at 43.9. Okay. Sure it is. Look, if you want to play the market, but you have about this much time before you're going to get crushed in it. It's getting crushed. It's going down. So you understand this is fake. There's no way this actual market's 43.9. So it's giving you opportunity to sell it. But if you don't sell it, if you think blindly that it'll just keep going up, you live in a world that I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing just goes up. And what are the reasons the market goes up is a good economy, low taxes, a lot of sales. Do you have any of that? Do you have a good economy now? Do you have tariffs? Yes. Do you have taxes? Yes. Which are the tariffs? What the hell is going on here? So this is totally fake. I don't know if it's algorithms, AI, or whatever the fuck it is. It isn't real. And you've got to realize, just use logic. It's not real. All right, let's go into baseball. And we'll do preseason football. So what I got out of preseason football is a lot of quarterbacks that are playing. Joe Burrow. I guess Mahomes is playing, although I'm not sure. All right, let's go through baseball yesterday and we'll look at today's. Frisco, the 49ers beat the Steelers 4-2. Today's games is going for Pittsburgh. Baltimore 5, Philly 1. We had Philly under 8. First, I thought I lost with Philly with Ranger Suarez, but then I realized Trevor Rogers on Baltimore is 5-2 with a 1.44 ERA. So I bet the game under with two good pitchers. And I'm sure Baltimore's 5 runs did not come off of Ranger Suarez. So the under wins. Cleveland beats the Jets 4-1, and they were only 6 back of the Tigers. I'm sure Detroit will not win their division. I'm not sure if they'll even make the playoffs, depending on how the wild cards go. But KC's only 8.5 back, and the way the Tigers are playing, you just lost 2 out of 3 to Minnesota. Okay, you lost it to Philly, but you lost it to Minnesota. And what did I hear? Oh, Detroit takes, so many series. Well, that ended. The fuse blew up, Mission Impossible. So now they've come back to earth and come back to reality. And now they're all hitting like 190. Even though you see their batting average of 250, 260, it was 290. And so you've not hit, because there's a lot of at-bats to knock your average down. Ricky Green supposedly is going to break the record for most strikeouts in a year. He's got 156. The record's 220. He only needs 60 more. The only way he won't get it is if he doesn't play every game, because this guy cannot hit. They figured him out. Throw him a high fastball, he swings and misses at it. And that's what they've done with most of these hitters. They figured out how to get him out. And now it's all over the league. And now all these players can't adjust, and they're all striking out right and left on high fastballs. They still try to, hit foul balls and walk. That's their game plan. Hit a bunch of foul balls and walk. Yeah, okay, that really works. Okay. Minnesota beats Detroit 9-4. I loved it. Joe Flaherty, 6-11 with the 4.56, gave up 6 runs in 3 innings or 4 innings. He only pitched 4 innings, gives up 6 runs and stunk. That's what I thought I'd got in Philadelphia. I was shocked. He was having the game of his life in Philly. He was hitting them through 6 or 7 innings, and the manager pulled him, and then they lost. And I think they lost 5-4. And does the manager want to win? Hence a monkey could manage baseball. If you're going to just, he pitched 95 pitches and we got to get him out of the game and then go to our bullpen who stinks. So you're taking your best players out. Reminds me of 2012 or 13 when the Tigers had the worst manager I've ever seen, that catcher who didn't say Brad Ausmus, I think. And so Verlander would have a shutout going into the 8th inning, and he'd take him out for the reliever, who gave up the runs, and we lost. And then Scherzer had a shutout into the 8th inning. Oh, no, we got to take him out, and we lost again. And then Price had a shutout going into the 8th inning. Nope, we got to pull him with the same pitcher, and he blew 3 games, cost him the playoffs, cost him the World Series, because, it's so many pitches we have to take him out. That's not a rule. What are you talking about? So this is reminding me of that. Skubal should pitch complete games. Skubal should never be taken out because he's your best player, and it's in accordance to taking Mahomes out of the game in the last 5 minutes of the 4th quarter. Well, Mahomes, you've thrown 35 passes. Your arm's probably tired. We'll have to take you out. That's about what the Tigers are doing. Skubal, your best player. No. We got to take him out. Well, if you take him out, you bring in far inferior players. And then you start losing games that you can't afford to lose. The fuck are you doing? Do you want to win? Are you managing to win, or are you managing to lose? Are you trying to lose? Did you bet are you Pete Rose? Did you bet against the Tigers? And you're pulling Skubal and bringing in shit out of the bullpen, and then we lose the game? I think that's what's happening. I think he's betting against the Tigers because it's out. Why else would you pull him? Oh, it's 100 pitches. Who gives a shit? Oh, that's not a rule. It's just a bullshit analytics thing. And that's the problem with the analytics. So you lose games because some bullshit analytics that nobody knows what it is says, 100 pitches, the pitcher gets tired, I got to pull him. Oh, okay. Well, good luck. What are you going to go work at McDonald's now because you're an idiot? I think so. Cubs beat the Reds 6-1. Andrew Abbott again with his 2.34 ERA gives up 6 runs to the Cubs, or they pulled them in the bullpen. So they're doing the same thing as the Tigers, pulling their best player. Makes no sense, but I didn't have that. Oh, no, I did. I had Cincinnati under 8. Okay, yeah. Because the Cubs had a Kate Horton with a 3.18 ERA. Okay, so I bet it under. Okay, yeah, I did have it. The Yanks 3, Texas 2. I didn't play. No, I did play. I played Texas. Mark Leader. Texas was hot. The Yankees were on a 5-game losing streak. And the Yankees win 3-2. So I lose with Texas. Toronto, 20-1 over Colorado. At Colorado. Jesus Christ. That's why the Colorado pitchers are like Kyle Freeland, 2-12, but he's pretty good with the 5.53 ERA. Kevin Gausman gets the win for Toronto, 20-1. Tampa 5, California 4. 2 nobodies pitched. St. Louis 5 beat Shotani 5-3, but they pull Shotani so he doesn't take the loss. Again, that's out of curiosity. What did Shotani do? What did he play? 2 innings? Shotani pitched 4 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, 2.37 ERA. He pitched a whopping 54 pitches. And then the bullpen comes in with a 3.94, 2.47. And I love how the closer has a 6.75 ERA. What is wrong with these managers? Liberatore, 4 innings, gives up 6 hits and 3 runs. Leahy, 2 innings, Romero and O'Brien. Let's see what so their ace has a 1.84 ERA and a 2.09 and 2.59. So they got a pretty good bullpen. O'Brien and Romero, 2.09 and 1.84. That's what you want. So Ohtani, I don't get it. He's the pitcher and he's the DH and he's batting first. So he goes 1 for 3. And he's hitting a whopping 276. Way overvalued the fact that he can hit and pitch. Not if you're hitting 276. Freddie Freeman, 3 for 8. So you got 276, and you got, why do you have a 230? Mookie Betts hitting second with 236. Then you got 2 300 hitters, Will Smith and Freddie Freeman. And then you got 254, 276. And then you got some guy hitting 191. Oh, that was a pinch hitter. Okay, so explain this to me, Batman. Cookie Rojas, second baseman, 240 batting average. And you pinch hit with him with Conforto, who hits 190. Why would you ever pinch hit anybody with the guy hitting 190? Oh, well, he's right-handed or he's left-handed. Yeah, and a lot of good it did, right? Khalil hits 275. And A. Freeland is hitting 286. He's a third baseman. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They got 8 hitters and 0 bad hitters on the Dodgers. And they scored a whopping 3 runs. And St. Louis gets 5. And St. Louis has 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hitters with 1, 2, 3, 4 bad hitters. So they got 4 hitters, 4 bad hitters, scored 5 runs. Now the thing that confuses me is your third baseman's hitting 224 and the pinch hitter's hitting 274. That makes sense. Then your other third baseman comes in who's hitting a whopping 229. So you got problems with the third baseman. and your catcher hits 205, and your center fielder hits 223. What is that about? That's ridiculous. Anyway, I just wanted to see Shotani. So why is he only pitching 4 innings? Why isn't he pitching more? All right, let's move on. We got Miami 6, Houston 4. Miami's been pretty hot. Jason Junk, another win, 6-2 with the 3.97. Spencer Spaghetti, 1-2 with the 7.43. He must have been hurt because I used to laugh at him last year, and now he's back. Washington 2, Oakland 1. I had Oakland over 8.5. So hard to understand when their pitcher with a 4.94 ERA holds them to 1 run. KC 7-3, so we lose with Boston. Their winning streak ends at 7. But we have Milwaukee and their winning streak, again, another 5-game winning streak. They win 5-4 at Atlanta. San Diego 3, Arizona 2. San Diego's got hitting up and down the lineup, yet they don't score. And Seattle 8, the White Sox 6. So the White Sox surprised you. I didn't play that. So I have Philly, Mini over 8. Cincy under 8, and Milwaukee. So I got 4 winners. I got 3 losers, Oakland, Boston, and Texas. But I did play Philly under 8 for 5 units, and I played Milwaukee for 3. So unit-wise, I go 5, 7, 9, 12 minus 6. I go plus 6 units. So that's really the key to it. It's not the win. It's winning the big bet. That's the key. That's why I do locks in football. Locks in football are about, I really like the game. I think it's going to win. Let's bet more on it, because we can't bet the same amount on every game in football. There's good games to bet on, and there's games that are which you probably shouldn't bet on, but they win too. But you really want to go with good games. D always gets me when I'm on. Just a second. All right, sorry about that. So right now it's 11, so it's add 7 hours, so it's 6:30 there. She's at work, but got to say hi. Okay, today, very limited schedule. We have 4 games. We've got Oakland at Washington. We got Oakland 135-9. Jacob Lopez 4-6, 3.99 against Michael Parker 7-11 with the 5.35. I don't know. It should be over, but yesterday was a 2-1 game, so I like streaks. So when they hit a lot, I like betting them over. When they hit, I don't want to bet them over the next day. The White Sox, Seattle, another high-scoring game yesterday. Seattle's minus 300, 7.5. What the hell is going on here? Shane Smith, 3-7 with a 4.25. Logan Gilbert, 3-4 with a 3.45. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm kind of looking at the over because these teams are hitting. Seattle's got a lot of hitting, and the White Sox have been hitting lately. See, the White Sox are 42-72, but the last 30 or so games, they've been playing much, much better. So I doubt they're not that bad of a team. They're playing very well. I would think this is an over. I don't. Why is Seattle minus 295? I mean, is there an injury? Maybe. I don't know. I don't keep up with the injuries in baseball unless it's Bryce Harper or Aaron Judge. So Logan Gilbert, 3-4 to 3-4-5. I would take a small White Sox bet at you're getting 300. I mean, it's a minus 300. You're getting probably 250. It's as bad as the government, these odds. But I think this is this is way too high. I think the White Sox at 295 is good, and I think the over is probably good. But I'm not playing it, but my opinion is, but I don't. It doesn't, it's not. It doesn't sing. Cincinnati at Pitt 170-7. Brady Singer 9-8 with the 4.36. Paul Scanes 6-8 with the 2.02. We're going to take Pitt as our first play of the day. Go Pitt. Beat Navy. Paul Scanes. And we'll go 3 units. Cincinnati is good. They can hit. Pitt can't. Total is 7. I'm not sure Brady Singer, I'm not sure what's going on there, but I looking for Scanes to shut him out. And then when they pull Scanes is the problem. See, now if I'm the manager and I got Scanes going, he's pitching the whole game. If he's doing one of his 2-hitter, 3-hitter, and it's a shutout, he's pitching the whole game because I got to bring in an inferior pitcher. This is like football. I got Mahomes. Why would I take him out? Let me bring in the backup. What are you, nuts? I'm playing to win. I would pitch Scanes the whole game. Do you think it matters if he pitches 130 pitches versus 95 and he pitches a complete game in 9 innings? Does it matter? Did it hurt his arm, the extra 20 pitches, or him going 8 and 9? No, he's probably jacked to complete the game and get the win. This does not at all make any sense, this bullshit 95, because you're pulling Paul Scanes and you're pulling Skubal and you're pulling Fried and you're pulling these really good pitchers for minor leaguers, and then you lose the game. Why are you playing to lose? That's my problem. The managers are playing to lose. Well, I'll just put in a bullpen guy. The guy's a minor leaguer. You don't have major league bullpen guys. There's maybe 5 bullpen guys that are actually major leaguers. Most of them are minor leaguers. Well, he can throw 96. Yeah, but he can't hit the plate. Or they know it and they just rip him. I mean, I've seen so many guys just throw the ball down the middle at the Tigers. It's unbelievable. So let's pray Scanes goes 8 and they get some closer. But that's the thing. So we'll bet on Scanes. Normally, I'd bet the under if Brady Singer had like a 2 ERA, we'd bet it under. But in this case, we'll just take Scanes. And our last game, again, it's a small thing today. We got Miami at Atlanta. Miami 125-8. Yuri Perez 4-3 with the 2.70 goes against Carlos Carrasco 2-2 with the 5.68. Who's Carlos Carrasco? I thought he was the shortstop at Houston. Pitcher of Atlanta, born in 87. He was on Cleveland since 2013 to 2020, then the JETSs, and then back to Cleveland, and then back to the Yankees. And now he's in Atlanta. His ERA, his total ERA is 4.08. He had 2 3.6s, a bunch of 3 ERAs, then a 5, then a 2.91, and a 6, and a 3, and a 6, and a 5, and a 5, and a 4. So he's got about a 5 ERA the last 5 years. Going against Yuri Perez with the 2.70. Yeah, I think Miami wins this game. Let's go with Miami. 2 units. That's it. There's 4 games. We'll take the boys. So our one bet, we're taking Scanes. 3 units, and then Miami's been playing well, so we'll take Miami. I mean, they're actually not bad. They're 56-57. Atlanta's 47-66. So Miami is a much better team. All right, let's go to the NFL preseason. Now, I've heard a lot of these quarterbacks are going to play. Burrow, Mahomes, Richardson. I'm not sure of Love and some of these other ones. We will see. So we got preseason Cincy at Philly with Burrow playing, but he's probably only going to play the first series or maybe the first two. If they go 4-0, what's Philly going to do? Are they going to play their one defense or are they going to stick with their three defense? I don't know. Can Prime Jr. succeed? Absolutely not. I showed you that stat yesterday. Some execs in football say they draft a quarterback based on how many sacks he had. Bo Nix, 6 sacks. Daniels, 12. Penix, 8. And then you had Caleb, 35. Then you got Prime Jr., 59. And they say that they can't read the defense and they can't get rid of the ball if you have a lot of sacks because you're missing the blitz coming, or even if they're not blitz. Now, I know Prime Jr.'s excuse was he didn't want to throw any interceptions. Well, you didn't have to. You could throw the ball into the ground or out of bounds. You don't have to take the sack. So he supposedly took the sack so he wouldn't get interceptions, and I don't buy that for a minute. So he gets sacked a lot, so he can't read shit. Now, what's happened is Kenny Pickett's got a pulled hamstring, okay, and then Dylan Gabriel apparently can hit the broadside of a barn, which is news to me. I saw him at Oregon. He hit the broadside of the barn all the time. What the fuck are you talking about? So I don't know what's going on with Gabriel. Oh, he went 4 of 18. No, he did not go 4 of 18. That's got to be a setup. Maybe it's bad. The receiver's dropping the ball. Maybe there's no protection. We don't know what's going on with that. I mean, if they're blitzing him and he's, this isn't practice, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing things to get Prime Jr. ahead of him. But Gabriel is not a 4 for 17 quarterback. No, he can hit the broadside of a barn. Lamar is a 4 for 17 quarterback, not that. Prime Jr. could be 4 for 17. So Prime Jr. gets to start. He is nowhere near ready. He doesn't even hold the ball in the proper position. I would bet on they're playing Carolina. I would bet Carolina, but I don't think so. If Steve Young is their starter, then who's their backup, right? So who's starting here? 5 things to watch. And Sanders start in the J.J. McCarthy era. So Carolina 6.5. Notice how the line jumped from 3 to 6.5 because Prime Jr. is starting. But we don't have anything with Carolina. They have no quarterback. So I don't know how you take advantage of it. But I wouldn't bet Cleveland. If you made the bet and paid it, I wouldn't bet Cleveland. Oh, now this decision is largely based on injuries to Dylan Gabriel and Peck. Oh, so now Gabriel's got injuries. Oh, it wasn't because he was 4 for 17. But it still will give him a chance to start to separate himself heading into the middle of training camp. Sanders hasn't practiced much with the starters this preseason, which is to be expected as a 5th-round pick, and now can make his mark. Well, he ain't making any mark. J.J. McCarthy. I give him 4 games before he gets injured this year, McCarthy. I don't know if he's Chip Kelly's on Oakland. We know that. Let's see if we get a list of players playing. So what I know is Burrow. I know Mahomes. I know Richardson for Indy, Prime Jr. That's all I know. You won't see Stafford. You won't see Purdy. Most of the guys you won't see. And we'll see. This week one is the test. We'll see. We'll see the backups so we know who they are. And then we can focus. But I heavily advise about betting week one more than $5 a bet. You're betting on four stringers. It's like baseball. You're betting on minor leaguers, right? And in this, you're betting on basically guys that are not professional. You're betting on four-string guys that'll never make the team. So please be very careful. This is very small bets if you want some entertainment. Let's see. Expect Stafford to play for the Rams in week one. Okay. Mike Mayock, I don't give a shit. Matt LaFleur, we'll do our best. Get all four quarterbacks meaningful reps. Why do you have four quarterbacks? See, you can't judge the quarterbacks. I can judge the quarterbacks. I wouldn't carry Uglia Buglia or half these guys. I wouldn't have Bryce Young on my team. But no, they can. We got to give them all a chance. Let them try. Let's see. Aaron Glam plans to play Jets starters versus Packers on Saturday. I don't know that that'll matter. I don't think the Jets starters can handle that. So what do we get? We get Fields. Well, he's the third stringer anyway. That would probably not prevent me. Now, what will Green Bay do if they're playing their starters? But they probably won't. Any other starters will play for the Jets? How to get tickets for 25 preseason? Who the fuck would want to go to a preseason game? Oh, important news. Aaron Rodgers made a helmet switch. Oh, my God. Fantasy football, Aston Gentry, definitely take him. He's a superstar. Archie Manning says Arch Manning won't leave Texas. I don't know if that's to go to another college or to go to the pros. I don't know why Archie Manning has to say that. You know, they're still back. We need a college education. Yeah, sure you do. Josh Allen will not play in the Bills preseason opener. Big deal. We know that. Trevor Lawrence on Travis Hunter. Selfishly, I definitely. Oh, okay. Let's read this. Selfishly, I definitely want him on offense more. Lawrence, you stink. All right, let's look at the lines. So we've got tonight's game. Indy at Baltimore. Lamar's not playing. Henry's not playing. Anthony Richardson is playing. Indy's minus 6.5, 36. I am so tempted to take Baltimore and 12.5. I can't tell you. So is Richardson going to make that big of a deal? He can't throw. How long is he going to play? One series? He's got a bum shoulder. All he does is run. This will be curious. I'm sure they'll blitz the hell out of him if he starts running. So you do have Richardson, but I would not bet Indy. I'd bet Baltimore here. Cincy and Philly, since he's now a 6.5-point favorite, Joe Burrow is playing probably the first two series. I assume we'll have Chase and Higgins out there. We'll see. But again, what does it show is that Cincinnati's pissed off. They had a slow start last year and missed the playoffs. And they know they only have – you have Chase and Burrow on the same team for so long. And you went to one Super Bowl, and you should be at the Super Bowl every year. You know how to beat Kansas City. So everybody rags at their defense. Well, it was good enough to beat KC 3 times. They know how to beat KC, and it's Joe Burrow and Chase. You can't handle them. So going to Philly, I don't think Philly's going to play their first team defense, although they might play some, but Burrow should go down, boom, boom, 2 touchdowns, and then he'll be pulled. And that's it. So I think the over might be a way to play this game because you're going to get 14 points from Burrow. We'll see. Oakland goes to Seattle. Oakland 4.5, 37. I don't know why. Is Geno Smith playing? Is Gentry? I doubt's going to play. Brock Bowers, I can't imagine him playing. I can't imagine Crosby playing. Seattle, Geno Smith's out. Well, who do they got? Ugly Boogly is on San Diego. So I don't know what Seattle is, why this line is like this. It should be Seattle 3-point favorites just because they're at home. I took Oakland as the dog. Seattle was 1.5-point favorites, and I bet them, and now it's 4.5. So you only get 2.5 for Oakland. I don't like it as much. Cleveland at Carolina, Prime Jr., the 4th-string quarterback for Cleveland. And if these other two are injured, then it makes who are they going to bring in Flacco? So, no, they added a 5th quarterback just for this. So that's right. So he'll play the second half. Prime, give him 2 interceptions in a preseason game. Carolina minus 6.5. I don't. I agree with Carolina winning, but I don't know who the quarterbacks are. So, yes, I would bet against Prime Jr. Detroit at Atlanta. Detroit 3.5, 32.5 at Atlanta. I question that. I like the over in the game. Detroit has no defense, and I doubt Hutchinson's going to do anything if he even comes back before October. Atlanta, I don't know that you'll see Penix, but we'll see other backers. Kirk Cousins will play, yeah. Washington at New England. It's still tonight. New England 6.5, 34.5. I don't know that Drake May's playing. Maybe. I don't know that. I'm sure Daniels is not. Drake May needs help, that's for sure. Now we go to tomorrow afternoon, the Giants at Buffalo. The Giants, 3.5, 36.5. Why? Okay, we know Allen's not playing. I don't know who their backup is. This is the problem. We don't know who the backups are. The only backup I know is Kyle Trask on Tampa. So the Giants, because he'll play a half. Burrow's going to play 1 or 2 series. Mahomes will play probably one series. They'll drive down, score a touchdown. He's done. But that's good. They want to get the timing down in a real game. The Lions have their thumbs up their ass. Well, we don't want to get anybody hurt. Yeah, okay. I don't know. It's at Buffalo. Buffalo probably a live dog in this game. Houston and Minnesota. Minnesota 3 and 37.5 against Houston. I don't know who. Again, we don't know who the quarterback is. This is like baseball. We don't know when the bullpen comes in, so they're hard to bet. The Steelers and Jacksonville. Jacksonville minus 3, 36.5. I would imagine Rodgers and Metcalf don't play. They might play a series. Trevor Lawrence, we hope he plays because he sucks. But again, it's the backups. Dallas goes to the Rams. Dallas 2.5, 33.5. The Rams. I do like the Rams in this game because of what's his name, Stenson Benson, and whoever else they got. Dallas, you hope Dak Prescott plays. He'll throw 2 picks. So I like the Rams as a home dog here because I don't think Dallas is any good. Tennessee at Tampa. Tennessee's 3.5. I love this game. Tampa Bay getting 9.5 because Kyle Trask was very strong at Florida. Hasn't really got the chance. Who's Tennessee got? Even if they played Cam Ward, who does Tennessee got? So I like Tampa here. KC at Arizona. I can get KC in 7.5 with Mahomes going the first series. So I know I get 7. I doubt Arizona will score. Again, it's a little bit much. I do like KC with Mahomes as the quarterback. The Jets at Green Bay. The Jets starters are all minor leaguers. I mean, when Fields is your starter and you think you're going to win a game with Fields, they might not win a game. Terrible coaching, terrible defensive coordinator. You got Fields as your starter. You've got no receivers. You got no defense. Well, explain to me why. What are they even doing? Green Bay -3 at Green Bay. Hard to say, but I think if Green Bay was a dog, I would take them. But the Jets starters don't scare me. Actually, they make me want to bet Green Bay here. Denver at the Niners. Denver 6.5, 34.5. Are they playing Bo Nix? I mean, why are they 6.5-point favorites at San Francisco? I would leave this one alone. Miami goes to the Bears. The Bears -330. Now, the thing that bothers me is Pageant is better than Caleb. Pageant should be their starting quarterback. And as Caleb starts screwing up, they're saying Caleb looks really bad. He can't complete passes. He's really not a good quarterback. They didn't take Daniels or Penix. They took Caleb. Oh my God. Why, McFly? Why are you doing this? So I'm more scared of Pageant. Tagliavoa won't play, and I don't know who their backups are yet. And our last game, New Orleans at San Diego, and New Orleans is a 1-point favorite. Any of their quarterbacks suck. Hayner's their best one. Rattler's terrible. And the new kid, Tyler Shaw, was nothing at Louisville, and he wasn't anything at Texas Tech because he got beaten out. So now you're going to start him? I don't know. He might play a little bit, but I like Trey Lance the way he looked last week. Probably get the other guy, Heineken. And we'll have Uglia Buglia with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So my plays early in the week, Oakland plus 7.5. Now I would kind of avoid Oakland as their 4.5-point favorites, and you get 1.5. I don't like that. And I had them with Cleveland, so delete that. I then went to Cincinnati even, knowing Joe Burrow, and I'm going to play that with Kansas City. I like Detroit over 26.5 with that killer defense I saw last week, making Trey Lance look like all-pro. And the Rams I just like at home as a dog, getting 8.5. Tampa Bay plus 9.5 with Kyle Trask, and San Diego plus 9.5 with between Trey Lance and Heineken. They should put up. They looked really good last week. Who are the Rams playing? Oh, Dallas. Yeah, I like definitely Dallas can't be a road favorite. And then we've switched to Kansas City at Arizona. Yeah, Kansas City getting 7.5. So our initial bet was Oakland, Cleveland, but then Prime Junior's playing, and then Oakland's spread got too high. So if you did get it in at 7.5, you're in fine shape. So I switched to KC getting 7.5 with Cincinnati even. Now that we got Joe Burrow, Mahomes playing. Now we know it's just for 2 series, and we know if they score in the first series, it'll probably be it. But it's still something. It shows they want to win. They want to do better. Look for Cincinnati to come out of the blocks and just go. They're not going to go 0-3. They get Cleveland. They're not losing to Cleveland, especially if Prime Junior is the quarterback. Joe Flacco, he'll play better. I don't know if he can beat Cincinnati. I just don't know if Cleveland's got a defense to handle Chase and Higgins and Joe Burrow. I don't think so. And now they got a running back, Tajee Brooks from Texas Tech, who was 1,700 yards. So look out for Cincinnati. They actually have a good running attack, and then they added a defensive lineman to go with Hutchinson, and then they got a cornerback or something. So Cincinnati should be much improved. They could win the Central. They're better than Pittsburgh, and they're better than Baltimore. And Pittsburgh could beat Baltimore too, because when it gets down to it, Lamar chokes. And that's all we know is Lamar's, Oh, it's a big game. Wait a minute. Wait, let me throw some interceptions and fumbles because he's Lamar. All right. So that's preseason. Again, these are $5 bet. These are just, I'm watching the game. Let's put, a Coca-Cola on, a Diet Coca-Cola on it. That's it. Baseball, we're going with Skanes 3 units and Miami 2 units. Football, we're taking now Kansas City, Cincinnati in a teaser. We're taking Detroit over with the Rams, and we're taking Tampa Bay with San Diego. And we will see. I finally got Sean McVay's name memorized. So there's Sean Payton at Denver, and now it's Sean McVay at LA. I always mind blank. I used to mind blank Alabama's coach, which I'm just mind blank now because I'm thinking about Sean McVay. Nick Saban. I always couldn't think of Nick Saban for some reason. Anyway, we got that. All right, let's take our class on a trip to Africa. This is disgusting, so only the brave should look. First, we have nuclear war. Nuclear war closer than ever. Now, this just came out, so I will watch it later. I seriously don't think it'll be a real nuclear war. I think like on 24 when they did the nuke, and it was just a small section of LA that got exposed, and it was 10-mile radius. That's my idea of nuclear war, not that we're all going to be wiped out, because that's bad business. The desire of gold is for freedom. He has been listening to us. Let's hear what Egon.
American author Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The desire of gold is not for gold, it's for the means of freedom and benefit, not just for gold itself." That means gold is for, as we are all the time telling our investors, gold is for wealth preservation. That is freedom. We are now entering an era when the financial system and the monetary system are going to implode. Whether that happens in the next few years or it takes longer, it doesn't matter. The time is right now to ensure your wealth or whatever savings you have. And the best means of doing that, as Emerson said, gold is for freedom. It means you hold gold in physical form, store it outside the banking system in a safe jurisdiction, and you don't worry about it thereafter. You don't look at the price. You don't look at the fluctuations. You just know that you are going to have life insurance here that will last for you and for your family. The American author Ralph Waldo Emerson said.
Now I'm going to share this with a few people. So I share it with my friends on WhatsApp. Daria, I don't, because she doesn't speak English that well, and I don't know if she can understand it. Anyway. Now, this is the African. Ibrahim Traore captures American mining gang. So America's going in and trying to steal the gold from them, from this city or country. Now this guy in charge is a good guy. This Ibrahim Traore is like the president of this Imol Faso, whatever you call it. Real quick, China's savings vanish, panic erupts, China freezes bank accounts, China's hidden bank collapse, vanish savings people. Now, what is different about China? Then we'll go to Africa. The difference is the China system collapsed when Evergrande and the other floral garden collapsed, the housing giants that everybody had paid to buy houses, and then they didn't build the houses and they went bankrupt and they can't pay. So the banks, so if we understand it, as I taught you with banks, they loan the money out and then they were expecting to get paid back. But the problem is they can't get paid back. They can't get paid back because Evergrande and and Garden Flory can't pay them back because they're broke. So they lent out billions of dollars that they didn't get back, but all the people like me and you went to the bank and put our money in. Now we want our money. Well, they don't have the money because Evergrande and that Garden Floral went broke and didn't pay them back. So they have no money to give out to the citizens. And that's why they can't. It's not really because of inflation and everything else. That might have been why the Evergrande went broke, but I think they just didn't. They just took the money and fucked around with it. Now, that is happening to a theater near us, but not yet. We are on the verge of having this massive housing and auto crisis where the repo guys will come out and people won't be able to pay their credit cards. They won't be able to pay so that's going to hurt the banks. They won't be able to pay their mortgages, which is going to hurt the banks, and they're not going to be able to pay their car payments, which is going to hurt the banks. So the banks are expecting all this money coming back in to pay out me and you, and we want money. Well, they won't be able to because they're going to get screwed. So if I lend Bobby $10,000 and he says I can't pay you back, well, that I'm expecting that 10 grand to give to Luke and to give to Nick and to give to people. I'm counting on Bobby's money to pay them off, sort of like a Ponzi scheme, kind of. And that's when the Ponzi scheme ends, is when you can't get the money in, which is what a bank is, kind of. It's kind of a Ponzi scheme. So if they don't get any more money in, you come and they can't. That's what's happening in China. Their Ponzi scheme, they didn't get the money in, they can't give you the money out. Banks are all Ponzi schemes. Don't ever forget that, Michael. So that's what's happening. They're freezing accounts because they don't have the money to give them. All right, let's go to Africa.
American author Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The desire of gold is..."
Let me send this to D. All right. So let us go to the African country. So we start with this one. This is the order. Taylor defies Trump's demand. Trump demanded a 48-hour, we want your gold and oil. Who the fuck are you, Trump, to ask for my gold and oil? Now you can see this guy's like a colonel or he's the president of this country I never heard of. So this is where it starts. Then he tells them to fuck off. Then they go and kill 50 soldiers. U.S. strikes Burkina Faso because they said fuck you. And it was like CIA and special forces that went. But now they retaliate. Ibertoro declares war on the U.S. for the 50 soldiers done. They retaliate. And they retaliate with the other 8 African nations and the little fellow Russia. Yeah, we'll help you. Now, does Russia want their gold? I don't know. Russia's got 20,000 tons. Do they want their gold? Probably. They'd like to get paid in gold. So what Trump's doing is now fighting Russia through Africa, just like he's fighting Russia through Ukraine. There's some reason that they hate Russia for so much. This just blows my mind. I actually admire Putin. I think he's fine. He's not nuking anybody. He doesn't want to go into Europe. He's only trying to get his Russian cities back from the Ukraine. As if somebody stole my baseball cards. I just want to get them back. No, that didn't happen, but that's the idea. So let's start with Trump's little ultimatum. So we think Trump Doesn't have anything. Where we thought Biden was out to lunch, we're all starting to think Trump's out to lunch. He's doing the stupidest things. He's doing these tariffs to piss everybody off. What is the benefit of this? Now, again, people have it wrong. He's not. We don't pay for the tariffs. Let's get that straight. The company that makes golf balls, tennis rackets, or whatever the hell it is, are the ones paying the tariff. That's the first thing. So in whatever country, whoever's making the shit pays the tariff. Then they ship it here. Now they can add the tariff onto the bill to the producer who makes the golf club, or if there is a producer, and they might say yes or no. And then it comes to us. And everybody thinks, well, we'll just raise prices and you'll pay for it. Well, as I've said many times, that doesn't work like that. It might work some of the time, depending on what the item is. As I said, the polo shirt, and yes, I'm wearing the same one I wore yesterday. I only wear it for this. I'll go buy Tommy Hilfiger. I'll go buy Brooks Brothers, and they're a lot cheaper because they're made in Indonesia, not China, or they're made in India or Vietnam, not China. So, no, I'm not going to pay the tariff. I might pay a smaller tariff from Indonesia. I might, but you know what? I go buy on the holiday when it's 50% off, so I'm not paying no tariff. And maybe that's why it was so cheap, because they knew the tariffs were coming and they wanted to sell their inventory. Maybe. I might go back up Labor Day. So let's take a look at this.
I emphasize again, it is free to join my community.
Nobody
The
cares.
stocks I share are also
We
free.
don't
The
care.
techniques-
Shut the fuck up.
Back in the West, it all started with a leak. A single line hidden deep in a classified cable. But that one sentence was enough to rattle an entire country. Traoré had just 48 hours to deliver 60% of Burkina Faso's oil and gold, or face serious consequences. And the name at the bottom? Donald J. Trump, then President of the United States. He wasn't just playing politics. He was running a hard-hitting global business offensive through backdoor diplomacy. The demand shocked even Washington's inner circle. Not talks, not deals, just a flat-out ultimatum. Hand over almost complete control of the country's newly found oil and gold reserves. It wasn't a negotiation. It was a threat aimed right at the heart of Ouagadougou. Before we dive into this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Sources say the cable didn't just show up. It was hand-delivered by a trusted go-between, a former U.S. military attaché, flanked by private American security contractors. It landed on Captain Ibrahim Traoré's desk at dawn. The message? Crystal clear. Let U.S. corporations start extracting oil and exporting gold immediately. Hand over long-term control of Burkina Faso's energy policy to an American-led economic board. Do it in 48 hours, or face sanctions, resource blockades, and internal sabotage. This wasn't diplomacy. This was a shakedown. Trump's tone was blunt, cold, and all business. We saved you from terrorism. Now it's time to pay up. But there was one thing Trump didn't count on. The man sitting across from that demand wasn't the type to fold. Captain Traoré didn't flinch. He summoned his intelligence chief, brought in his top military commander, and told them straight, tell the Americans, Burkina Faso is not for sale. By midday, the story exploded. African media lit up from Lagos to Kinshasa. The headlines were everywhere. Trump demands Africa's resources Traoré given 24-hour deadline. The world started watching, and Burkina Faso held its breath. But Traoré wasn't writing a reply with pen and paper. He was writing it with strategy and steel. You see, for months, something huge had been kept under wraps, buried beneath the dry plains of northern Burkina Faso. This wasn't rumor or guesswork. It was real. Massive, untouched oil reserves confirmed by a secret geological task force formed after Traoré seized power. Russian engineers helped run the scans. Iranian drones flew under the radar. North Korean tech teams locked down the data. Everything was classified. Everything was secure until the first drill broke ground. And then the satellites caught it. American satellites, French satellites, the ever-watching eyes in the sky. Within 48 hours, US intel flagged strange energy activity in the Sahel. They tracked equipment flowing in from Iran and Venezuela. Encrypted messages hinted at a new sovereign petroleum corridor, and soon the gold signals lit up too. Burkina Faso was already taking back its gold mines, quietly kicking out foreign contractors. French-controlled companies were being replaced with national military units. The money no longer flowed to Paris. It was being redirected into a local development fund. And Washington understood exactly what this meant. Here was a country with oil and gold, not run by Wall Street, not answering to Paris, not begging the IMF, but backed by its own people, its own army, its own vision. That wasn't just defiance. That was a blueprint, and that scared the hell out of them. They didn't just want the oil. They wanted to kill the idea before Mali, Niger, Chad, or Congo got any bright ideas. That's when the phone calls started. From Exxon, from Chevron, from DC power players, all asking the same question: how do we shut this down before it becomes another Libya, only this time African-owned? Their answer? Send Trump. Send the threat. Forse Traoré Tongil. But the man they picked, he doesn't kneel. When the message arrived in Ouagadougou, it wasn't dressed in diplomacy. It came wrapped in arrogance, the language of empire disguised as business. Trump's team delivered it like a business deal. But make no mistake, this wasn't negotiation. It was extortion. The demands were outlined in a 7-page document marked Confidential Strategic Resource Acquisition Framework, but the content was anything but subtle. 60% of Burkina Faso's oil production was to be granted to US oil giants for stabilization and infrastructure purposes. Control of all major gold export routes was to be handed over to US-approved intermediaries. An American advisory committee would oversee all new mining contracts and revenue distribution. And in exchange, promises of military security, cooperation, technology partnerships, and protection from regime change. Yes, you read that right. Protection from regime change, a veiled threat buried beneath polite wording. The message: obey us or fall. And at the top of the document, in thick red ink, one handwritten note: Traoré has 48 hours. This wasn't just economic colonialism. It was imperialism, 2.0 bold, naked and direct. Back in Washington, the political elite tried to play it cool. They claimed Trump was going rogue, acting on his own, not as part of official US policy. But behind closed doors, no one was stopping him. Because deep down, Trump was just saying out loud what they'd all been thinking for years: we don't care who runs Africa, as long as we control what's under the ground. But Captain Ibrahim Traoré got the message loud and clear, and he had already made up his mind. No foreign power will dictate the future of our land. If this was going to be a power play, Traoré was ready, but not as a pawn. He was stepping in as a leader, a sovereign man, representing a sovereign nation. And Trump, he just...
Don't you love AI, sovereign? Jesus Christ. Let's just kind of recap. So who the fuck does Trump think he is, that he can just take their gold mine and take their oil? Are you fucking kidding me? And he's going into a military force with some general and some private contractors, defense contractor goons probably, to steal their gold and oil. It's not yours. You want it, you buy it, if they'll sell it to you. Now the misplay here is who's backing Africa? Russia. You want to fuck with them, you're fucking with Russia. You make these demands. I'm sorry, who are you? Can you imagine the government saying, give me all your gold, or give me all your silver, or give me your Mantle cards or your Brady cards? It's not yours. They're my cards. You're not getting them. You have no right to ask me for it. So this is the point. So he doesn't know he's going into a military country. This captain is like the new president, and it's military backed. So he comes in, and then we'll get to the next part. They kill 50 of the soldiers, and then here comes Russia. So what are we doing here? Do we have gold? I don't think so. I don't know how many tons they have. It could be 20 tons or 100 tons. They have these gold mines. So I think Africa is very rich in oil and gold. And France and the US steal all their money. And that's why they've been so poor for so long. They haven't been able to use their capital, their gold and their oil to make money on their own. And then that's it. But France, they finally kicked France out. What America, with what military are you using? The one that's in Ukraine or the one that's in Iran or the one that's in Israel? Explain to me which military you're using, because we don't have a military anymore. We have nothing. We have no weapons. We just have these little Rangers and Navy SEAL team or something. That's it. That's all we have. We don't have a military. You've used it all, and you have no weapons. What they say, you have 8 days of weapons, but you give them those to Ukraine and Israel. You don't have nothing. You have nothing to. This is a military power. This guy in Africa, and then it gets better is the other 4 countries that he said about are now with him. So now you're going to take on Africa. You're still in the Ukraine taking on Russia. You're still in Israel taking on Iran, and we don't have an army. We don't have men. We have some boats, some Navy guys, some planes. We don't have an army. And believe me, now with the drones, they'll just shoot you down. So this is getting interesting. What the fuck are we doing here? This is embarrassing to be an American, I'll tell you that.
The wrong soldier. When that demand landed in Burkina Faso's war room, Traoré didn't flinch. He read the letter calmly twice.
Everyone who touched the gauntlets turned to ash. 12 students, 5 centuries.
The letter calmly twice. Then he set it aside, stood up, and said flatly, "So that's their price for peace? Slavery in a suit and tie." He didn't wait. He didn't hesitate. He lit a fire. They want 60% of our future, then they'll get 100% of our resistance. He didn't call Paris. He didn't call DC. He called the commander of the Special Sovereignty Force, a shadow military unit created for exactly this kind of moment. Orders were issued fast. Lock down every oil field. Double security on gold convoys. Cut off all data flows to foreign contractors. Prep national television. A statement was coming. By noon, the entire country was watching. The screen faded to black. Then came the flicker of a live feed. No fancy studio, no slick production. Just Traoré in uniform. One hand on the Burkinabe flag, the other on a folder marked "Confidential U.S. Threat." His voice was calm. His stare was razor sharp. To the people of Burkina Faso and to our African brothers and sisters, an offer has been made to sell our oil, to sell our gold, to sell our honor in exchange for fear. He paused. The room held its breath. To those behind this insult, to Mr. Trump and his backers, you have misjudged us. We are not Libya. We are not Iraq. We are not your playground. We will never trade our land for your luxury. We will never bow to your bullets or your banks. You gave us 48 hours. Here's our response. You now have 48 hours to take your greed, your threats, and your arrogance and leave African soil. He stood, saluted, and walked off screen. No questions.
Very stoic. So he basically told us to fuck off. You're not getting any of it. Okay. A little bit more, and then we'll go to the next video.
No deals. No backing down. But while Traoré's speech lit up Africa, sparking cheers from Dar to Dar es Salaam, another storm was quietly forming behind the scenes. In oil boardrooms and intel agencies, panic hit at ExxonMobil. Urgent calls went out to DC. At Halliburton, strategy teams scrambled to assess the damage, and at CIA headquarters in Langley, alarms started going off. Traoré didn't fold. He went public. That was the problem. If Burkina Faso could say no and win, what was to stop Mali, Niger, Chad, or Congo from doing the same? So the pressure kicked up fast. CIA operatives started popping up more frequently in West Africa. Surveillance drones ran tighter flight paths over Burkina Faso's oil fields and gold routes. Social media lit up with sudden smear campaigns, calling Traoré unstable, erratic, even mentally unfit. And near the Ghana border, private contractors tied to a notorious intel firm were reportedly spotted moving in. The message from Washington was clear: this ends now. But Traoré's answer had already echoed across the continent. Africa is not yours to buy. Their mission? Destabilization from within. Meanwhile, major Western media networks suddenly aligned in message. They began a new narrative. Burkina Faso's economic isolation could trigger a humanitarian crisis. Experts warn, they said, Traoré is leading his country into ruin. But inside Burkina Faso, the opposite was happening. More people lined up to volunteer for oil field security units. Across Burkina Faso, the resistance wasn't just military. It was cultural, grassroots, and growing by the hour. University students held teach-ins on sovereignty and resource justice. Women's groups delivered food and supplies to soldiers guarding the gold mines. And every time CNN or the BBC ran another hit piece, young people didn't get angry. They laughed. Then they reposted it with the caption, "If they hate him this much, he must be doing something right." Captain
Exactly.
Ibrahim Traoré understood something critical. The real enemy wasn't just Trump. It was the whole system, the global machine of banks, oil giants, spy agencies, and media empires that had stripped Africa for generations. And now,
And boy, that's exactly the problem, right? We have banks, media, spy agencies, CIA, MI6. They're all running everything. There's no government running anything. There's no king running anything. It's these companies that aren't elected that are running everything. Oil and what was it? Oil spy. So the CIA, the oil companies, the banks, and the mafia basically are running the world. They're trying to run the world, and this is such bullshit. And this is the problem. Who do you think's behind all these wars? Why are they doing wars? So they can make money on the defense contractors' stocks. Well, wait, we can't let gold come out because all our money that's in US dollars will be worthless. And I just showed you Egon saying gold is freedom. And that's the point of it. So that's really what you're looking at, is what's happening there. So let's go. It's a good one. I think I watched the whole thing. So then we go. That's how they answer, and then the U.S. retaliates, killing 50 soldiers. So let's take a look at this one.
You want more energy? Take
No.
caffeine. You want better memory and focus? Take lion's mane. You want to reduce stress? Take L-theanine.
Shut the fuck up.
Today I bring you one of the most emotional and boldest updates yet. What we are witnessing right now in Burkina Faso is no longer a silent revolution. It's an open war for dignity. President Ibrahim Traoré, after losing over 50